Are you someone who craves a career that can have a positive impact by keeping things running smoothly? The team at NMC Health in Newton shares how careers in facilities management keep things in a hospital running smoothly.
Think hospitals are all about doctors and nurses? Think again. Behind every life saving moment, there's a team making sure everything works smoothly. Welcome to Hospital Facilities, a career where you're the hero behind the scenes. This could be your future. It's exciting, it's important, and it sets you up for success.
NMC Health is a key element of our community. We recognize that. Our mission is to improve the health of the community. We live that out in a variety of ways with a variety of folks, each bringing the best of themselves with their talent and skills in serving individuals and thus serving the community.
NMC Health is a community-owned 99-bed nonprofit hospital with an additional 10 specialty clinics in Newton and surrounding communities. We have a vision to improve health in the communities we serve, and that wouldn't be possible without the amazing skills of our facilities and maintenance team. They touch every corner of our organization. You'll find their fingerprints and expertise wherever you look. From selecting flooring that can be cleaned to prevent infections and HVAC systems that maintain quality air, to fire safety and emergency generators that keep critical systems running, to making sure a patient bed works properly or an IV pump is ready for use and properly calibrated to dispense life-saving medications. Hospital maintenance isn't just about tools and repairs. It's about teamwork, thinking on your feet, and getting the job done. You're like a detective, engineer, and problem solver, all rolled into one.
Our facilities team helps take care of the infrastructure, the bricks and mortar, which are the really the form through which we care for our folks.
I think patients are VIPs. If we get a patient call for air conditioning, a bed not working, sink dripping, a TV not working, to me that's VIP so that needs to be taken care of right away.
Our facility staff are critical to patient care.
Starting is easy. You don't necessarily need years of experience, just a can-do attitude and a willingness to learn.
Personality. Somebody who can communicate well, get along well with others. Of course, you like to have the natural ability to figure things out, good with their hands, that kind of things, have that mechanical instinct. Probably the most important thing is being able to get along with others, have that desire to take care of the patient.
Many hospitals offer entry-level jobs where you'll get trained on the job. Plus, you can take courses or get certifications to boost your skills and grow even faster.
In high school, I was always more mechanical versus the academic side of things. I knew at that point that I was more geared towards tech. There are several different technical fields that I was interested in, and it was from electrician to HVAC. Then I found out about biomed. Biomed was the one that seemed the most interesting to me because it was working on all these small electronics. And then it was also being able to work on computers because I knew it would allow me to use my skills to help others.
Here's what you'll get with a career in hospital facilities. A job that's never boring, skills you can use anywhere, and the chance to make a difference every single day. It's like being the hero no one sees, but everyone needs.
I am pleased to welcome Shane Meyer from NMC Health in Newton, who is going to answer questions about the career opportunities in hospital facilities management. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. I know careers and facilities management, after watching that video and working at the Kansas Hospital Association, they are historically occupied by men. But are there equal opportunities for women in this field and these multiple fields?
Oh, of course. We're seeing more and more women in the trades fields and electricians and plumbers as source contractors coming in. Yes,
Great. Well, we're encouraging all the ladies on the call to also look at careers in facilities management, in addition to all the guys that we've been seeing over the years. In the video, there are lots of different types of jobs featured in this areas. And it looks like maybe some of the individuals have very specialized skills, but others maybe are more of a broad range of abilities. Can you talk about the careers you have at Newton and what they're, are they more specialized or broad or both?
so we have multiple levels of employees from basic maintenance technicians to maintenance specialists. And a specialist would be primarily working HVAC would be their primary area of training, but they are also a jack of all trades. Someone to be very specialized to say, I only work on a Hitachi screw compressor, that we wouldn't be able to keep that person busy. What we need are people that are able to do the HVAC, but also come around and do repairs on fire doors and other life safety issues.
That's great. Well, I think variety a lot of people like. So working for a hospital might be the right kind of path for folks if they want a variety of work. And some in your video highlighted that. A question for you about the work you do. What do you find is the most rewarding part of your job?
Probably, we have a mission in our department. It's providing an environment that's safe for patients to heal and employees to work in. So that's kind of the mantra. That's what I live for, just making sure that we're performing that environment for our patients.
A safe place to heal is an essential mission. I love hearing that. I also curious, Shane, what drew you to this career? Like, what was your path that drew you to this career? And especially, what was your path that drew you to working at a hospital?
It's kind of interesting because when I was younger, I did not realize this was a career option. Um, I started in high school working for a retail company. I was going to do that until I figured out what I really wanted to do. And then 20 some years later, I was still working for the same company. Then the opportunity came. Got a phone call. They were looking for somebody to be a facilities director. And I started doing research, and it hit all of my hobbies, all my skills that I'm good at, all my interests. It just hit nail on the head there. So I applied for the job, managed to get it. It was a big learning curve, but it was an amazing career change.
That does sound exciting. So, I know we showed a lot of different people in the video. About how many people are in a facilities management team at a hospital your size? Maybe just tell us, what size of hospital you are and how many people work in facilities management.
We're licensed at 99 beds. Right now, we have 13 in our department. 14, we have a construction person who builds cabinets and rebuilds countertops for patient rooms. He's not technically an employee, but he's here 3 days a week, so that would make 14.
And so are these positions that you find are in high demand when you talk to others across the state? I know we have 122 hospitals in Kansas. Are these types of jobs in demand?
People want them. We need to be selective. When you're working in a hospital, you have patients in beds that may be immunocompromised. So having somebody doing the work in a hospital that understands that if they're generating dust, what are we going to do to control that? Just to make sure we're not putting patients at risk, understanding the importance and the safeguards you got to put in place when working in the healthcare environment.
All right. Well, I know that we've got lots of students from across the state logged in, adult learners as well, that have probably questions. So, Jaron, what are you seeing in the chat for questions for Shane?
Yeah, well, good morning, Shane. And several questions have really tied around more wanting to learn a little more about the training. What are some of the pathways and whatnot? So you've highlighted a few of the roles. We saw some of those roles in the videos. Could you just, again, maybe share a little recap, if you will, on what are maybe some of the educational requirements? What are jobs that you may need a degree, or if you don't need a degree, is there certain apprenticeships or other pathways that you might have to obtain as part of your educational or training pathways? Would you mind just sharing about several of those jobs? What might those pathways look like?
All right. Probably the maintenance supervisor, the jack of all trades, understanding the ins and outs of HVAC, understanding how to handle people, how to schedule, how to prioritize. That'd be the maintenance supervisor. Under them, maintenance specialists, ones that specialize in a field. HVAC, there's a lot of requirements and CMS requirements that we have to meet as far as air changes, filtration, temperatures, humidity, understanding all that. You need somebody with a strong HVAC background. Those are our maintenance specialists. That would require an apprenticeship, having a journeyman, and being very experienced and a good knowledge of that field. Maintenance techs, those are the backbone of the maintenance department. They are everything from maybe clearing a clogged sink in a patient room, maybe helping change filters up in air handlers, to doing small repairs or other repairs on the walls and floors. But yeah, the maintenance tech, there's no apprenticeship or anything required for that. It's just a good basic, good hands-on person that can do almost anything that you put in front of them.
And so someone asked another specific question on that, Shane. Does someone, if they have a certified biomedical equipment technician, CBET certification, does that maybe set an applicant apart from someone who might not? Is that something that you all look for?
It is something that I was specifically looking for. Margins are getting tighter. Having somebody with a CBET can also do your PMs on your ventilators and on your BiPAPs that we used to have to contract out and pay an outside company to do. Now we can have our biomed people take care of that responsibility, and it's an investment. You had to pay him more, but it's a money saver in the long run.
Well, that's a great point. Thanks for sharing that. And a few questions are also asking about, what are the hours? Is this a typical daytime work? Are there night shifts in facilities management roles that would be available for folks? What does some of that look like, and what are the typical hours or a schedule, if there is anything typical that you might share for folks on the call?
Kind of depends on the facility. We are one shift. First person, the supervisor, comes in about 5:30 in the morning, and the techs leave pretty much about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Some facilities may run high pressure steam boilers that would require maintenance on staff 24/7. So it just kind of depends on what the facility is, where it is, and how it's equipped.
Right. Well, and you mentioned a moment ago CMS, which is Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services, and there's some regulations that are coming down from there, and I'm sure some other regulatory bodies too. How do you stay on top of that, and what are some of the requirements and regulations that you're needing to follow that folks might not be aware of if you're in facilities management for a non-hospital or a non-healthcare entity, and how much has that changed your work being more specialized working in a hospital?
It has changed it a lot over the years. The patients can't care for themselves. They're in a bed. They're in a hospital for a reason. Hospitals are designed with fire compartments, separating areas by 2-hour firewalls or smoke compartments, and understanding the rules and regulations for all of these fire regulations and fire doors, how to maintain them, what CMS is looking for, what the accreditation organizations are looking for. It is always a learning opportunity. So if you have a thirst for knowledge, learn the code that applies to your specific building and execute it, and then teach the people that work with you on what's required, and just to make sure that you're dotting the I's across the T's, so when it comes time for inspection, you pass.
Thank you. Well, a few more questions that we have time to get to. Maybe the next one, can you maybe share a little, how might you balance the short-term needs of the facility itself, but also recognizing the long-term planning and development and really looking towards the future that I'm sure you might need to balance? What does that look like for you and the facilities management team?
That's a tough question. A lot of times when something needs a short time need, maybe do we repair this air handler or do we go out for a replacement? Uh, First thing we look at is how long does it take to get a replacement? Right now, we're looking at 40 weeks from the time we order one until it arrives. So a lot of planning in the future. What are the needs? Doing like a risk assessment. What will happen to the organization if this unit is down, if it fails? So yeah, risk assessments are a big part of our job, determining what impact it will have on an organization, whether we proceed with the repair or go with a replacement.
So what do you do in those situations when you have a 40-week delay potentially? Is that a critical, mission critical, item in the moment, or are there things you can do in that interim period?
Well, we have a back stock of, let's say if it was a fan motor or if it was a compressor or something, that we have a lot of that stuff in stock that we have, and we can get those parts switched out and get the unit back up and running. But when you start tracking the repairs on an item, a specific air handler, and repairs are trending upward, and you can see failure in the future, catastrophic failure in the future, it's time to make a plan to get a new one on the way, to get it swapped out get it swapped out on your schedule instead of waiting for a complete failure where it's going to cost you a lot more money.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have time for maybe one last question, and so we'll go to this one from the chat. What maybe is recent projects that, just to give folks an idea, that you and your team have worked on, or maybe that might be upcoming, if there's anything that you can share with those activities?
About 2020, we done a complete HVAC upgrade here at the hospital. Our hospital was designed in 1995. And in 1995, there was not a computer in every office. And now there's a computer in every office. There's 2 monitors minimum on every computer. So the amount of heat that we're generating was not engineered when they designed a hospital originally. So we have to make up for that. So we done an HVAC upgrade. We weren't able to keep up with the temperature. Humidity would creep up on us during the day. And those are all real strict control points. So this HVAC upgrade allowed us to keep the building cool, to manage the humidity, and take care of the patients like we're supposed to.